G'day, my name's Chris and welcome back to the Elusive Plants YouTube channel. This sun is in a very bad spot. I'm gonna melt sitting here. It's directly above me, but what are you gonna do? In this video, I'm gonna teach you what to do when your plants reach the top of the pole after you've already extended it. So if you have two moss poles stacked on top of each other, your plant's at the top of the pole, you're like, what do I do now? Now I'm gonna show you what to do. But first, we need a plant. So I already have a pretty good idea of what plant I'm going to be using for this video, but I figured I'd come down and show you this inside the greenhouse because I haven't really shown it that much on this channel yet. As you can see, it's a bit of a jungle. I should probably do a full tour at some point. Is that something that people would like to see? But there's literally just so much in here. Like, it's so dense in here that like it just goes back for ages too. This is like a 6 meter by 3 meter long greenhouse. And I was tossing it between using this Monstera Kloss, Adansonia Kloss, whatever it is. I'll put the name on the screen, I can never remember the name of it. Because as you can see, it's like, how do you zoom in on this? You can see that it's sort of like, that's as far as it'll let me zoom, how cool. It's grown off the pole, but I'm gonna use the verrucosum here because one, it's closer, two, it's attaching to the roof, and three, because as you can see, there's no leaves on the bottom of the pole, and I want to talk about that, so I'm going to get it out and let's get into it. This verrucosum is very much due for a chop and extend. It has more than reached the top of the pole, it has outgrown the pole. But the reason that I selected this one is because I feel like it's got some very important knowledge to be shared. I mentioned in one of the other moss pole videos that I've done about the plastic on the poles. It's good for indoor plants if you have them on a pole because it keeps the poles moist for longer. But don't get me wrong, it really works, but at the same time, you really need to make sure that you have a very chunky mix in the pot, otherwise it loses all the leaves up the stem because it stays too moist. I learnt that the hard way, case in point. You really want that water to just flow through the bottom of the pot. You don't want any retention really. So lots of orchid bark, lots of perlite, sand even, just things that are just gonna make the water flow straight through. In the back greenhouse, I don't use plastic on the poles anymore. I don't find it necessary for me personally anymore, but there's still plants inside that I definitely still use the cling wrap with. I just find it so much easier to do it this way. So the things that you're gonna need are an extension, another pole, same as the other one. Watch my other videos on how to make those. Wire cutters, cable ties, I use a bamboo stake just to like push the moss down the pole. And you obviously need some moss, which I moved off the table for the thumbnail and forgot to put it back, so continuity gonna be off. And of course you need a pole. Oh, also a garden stake, which you probably should already have if you've been following my way of doing these things. You can just reuse the same one that you've already got in here. This goddamn bird, I'm gonna go down and murder. Spring, there's so many baby birds around. Like, I would never actually hurt a baby, don't, not gonna talk about that. All right, let's get started. I should also mention that you need scissors. A fun little tip that I will share if you are into propagating plants is if this does happen, or just in general, if you're gonna extend your poles, cut between each node that's been rooted into the pole. And then it'll just naturally propagate itself while on the pole. You can already see down here, hopefully, that this node down here is pushing out a new leaf. Probably can't see that, but you know, hopefully editing me will be able to zoom in enough. But yeah, if you can only do it on ones that have rooted into the pole though. If it's just like a floating node like this one, it won't work. It'll just die and obviously fall. If you cut it here and here, it's just gonna fall. Use your brain. But in all honesty, I'm probably just gonna throw away the bottom part of this because I have so many verrucosum on my website, nobody wants to buy them. They're only $5. Go buy one, please. For the love of God, get rid of them, there's so many. Also, this has got ants on it. I'm genuinely melting sitting in this sun. I'm gonna need to find a new place to record when summer comes. Oh my God. I am actually gonna have to record this on the ground. It's very tall. So what you need to do, and this is pretty important I've found, is you need to, I'm gonna bring you closer I think, because this is important, this part. So you need to find on your pole where the two have been joined. As you can see, here's the old cable ties. And then you need to find the stem. And I would recommend cutting a little bit above where they join. So I'm gonna cut up here. simply because you don't want a stem all the way to the bottom of the pot. So get rid of this. There. Next thing you need to do is go ahead and cut all these off. Don't look at all that stuff, don't look at it, whatever. Once you've cut the things off the middle, you then want to remove the old pole, whatever it's called, garden stake. This is really hard to do one-handed. This is awful filming. There we go. Get out. Use the camera if you need to. It's removed. There we go. I need a filmer. What are they called? Cameraman. So once all the cable ties have been removed from here, and you've removed the stake from the supporting side of the pole, you then want to disconnect them both, which is never fun, because if you've done your job right, or the plant has grown right, it should be rooted into the bottom part of the pole, which this one has. If you want to be gentle and try and salvage these roots, by all means, go ahead, but that's not me today. So I'm just gonna pull. Nah, they're way too in there. Let's just cut. This is probably so painful for some people to watch, but I don't care. It'll grow back. Where's that last root? Oh, it's not a root. There's one more zip tie, cable tie. There, separated. I'm gonna rip this old plant off this pole and then reuse that pole. Not today though. Can we also just take a moment to appreciate the philodendron verrucosum? I know everyone has it now, but it's just so pretty. Those velvety leaves and that veinage and the backs. Like, are you joking? And the petioles, fuzzy. This is still one of my favorite plants. That looks like teeth though, that scares me a bit. This next step is also very important. What you need to do is get some of the moss out of the bottom of the top pole that you had. Maybe, oh, was that a cockroach? Jesus. Maybe 10 centimeters worth or so. However much your fingers can reach to, basically. That'll do. And then what you're going to do, which I'm not going to do on camera because I forgot to bring soil out, is then you're going to go pack this part of the pole, that bottom portion, with your potting mix. That will then provide stability for the pole when you put it back into a pot, and then it will also give room for the roots to spread out at the bottom. So very important in my opinion. How good's wind? I'm trying to film. So you want it to look like that. How the bottom part has your soil mix in it, and then you're going to get your pot and you're going to stick it into the middle like that, and then flip it. And if you've done that right, it shouldn't move, and no soil, or very minimal, should fall out of that. And then you're just going to go and pack the rest of that with your potting mix. So once you finish that, chuck your plant back in the pot. You're basically where you were in the previous video that I uploaded on poles. So you just go ahead and chuck this pole on top of this one, and then Bob's your uncle. Done. That's how you extend your plant poles. If you're like me and you have left your plants a little bit too long and they've outgrown the pole, like this for example, get away. The aerial nodes, you just got to manipulate it a little bit, and then attach that to the new pole. And then, like I mentioned, I think in the first moss pole video that I made, get a little bit of wire that came with this wire wrapped around it. Cut a little bit of that up, and then just stick that around the stem of the plant and stick that into the moss pole, and that will hold that in place. So then the plant will then continue to grow vertical rather than sideways, or whatever the heck this one was doing. But I think that's it for these moss pole videos. As far as I can think of, I've covered everything. But if there's something else I have missed or you want me to elaborate on, then definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'll make another moss pole video now that I've got a little moss pole playlist going up on the channel. If you found this video helpful or learned something new, anything like that, then definitely give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what else you want me to film videos on. I definitely need to make a bog video for colocasia. Don't let me, that's still in my mind. I haven't forgotten about it. I do need to get another colocasia to do that with though. I don't want to just reuse an old colocasia that I've already got. So as soon as I get a new colocasia, a new variety, I'll definitely make the bog video. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go cool off inside. It's so hot out here. Hooroo.